In this video, I'm going to show you 5 options in which you can obtain health insurance as an independent consultant, 2 of which being free. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, my name's Don Felker, and on this channel I teach you how to start, survive, and thrive in the world of independent consulting so you can live a life of freedom and autonomy, one that you've always dreamed of. In today's show, I want to talk about 5 options in which you can obtain health insurance as an independent consultant. Now, the thing that holds most people back from becoming independent consultants is health insurance. I find a lot of people out there can obtain clients. They can moonlight on the side, meaning they might work nights and weekends for the clients, making additional income, but they never make the full step into becoming an independent consultant. They never go full time. And the main reason for that is insurance. More than any other question other than hourly billing rate, I get asked, Don, but what about insurance? What do I do for health insurance? What do I do for dental, life, vision, all of those? Isn't it really expensive? I don't even know where to handle that. So there's 2 questions in which we're really going to try to answer in this video. 1, where can you find health insurance and how can you find it? And 2, how much is it going to cost? And so I'm going to provide 5 options. Each one of those are going to answer both of the questions. So let's just hop right into it. Okay, option number 1. You just don't have insurance. It's just as simple as that. Now, this isn't something that I recommend that you do. Mainly because you're not going to have any insurance. And, well, to be honest, when things go wrong, they go wrong without you even expecting them to. You might walk outside, slip and fall. Before you know it, you have a hospital visit because you have a broken bone somewhere. And those hospital bills can pile up very quickly. Now, it is a viable option not to go without insurance, and I know many youthful, young, healthy individuals that have gone without insurance just simply because it was a way to save money. They didn't have families to pay for, they didn't have dependents, it was just themselves consulting, and so they decided to risk it all and not having any insurance whatsoever. I do not recommend this approach whatsoever. You never know when trouble can strike, you might have some misfortune thrown your way, and before you know it, you have a mountain of medical bills. And just when you think you're going to get one bill from the doctor because you went to the hospital for perhaps a broken arm, what you're going to find is that you have multiple bills from many different departments at the hospital, usually upwards of tens of thousands of dollars. And yes, while it is true, you can contact these companies and tell them that you're paying by cash and they'll usually shave a significant amount off of the bill, you still have the trouble of dealing with all of that, and it's still very, very expensive. So that is option 1, and that is a free option. One of the 2 free options. Just don't have insurance. But I do not recommend you go this route at all. Okay, that leads us to option number 2. Now, option number 2 is only going to work if you are in a certain circumstance in life. And usually this circumstance is going to apply to someone who is young, perhaps is in college still, is a student, perhaps living at home. And depending upon your age and the state in which you live in, you can then qualify to still be on your parents' insurance. This, again, depends on your state and depends on your circumstance. Let's assume that you're a full-time student and you're working as a consultant on the side. Maybe you're working 40 hours a week on the side as a consultant as well, but you would still like to have health insurance. If your parents have health insurance through their providers or whoever they have it through, jobs, whatever, you can sometimes qualify to be on that insurance still, even though you are over the age of 18 because of certain laws and stipulations. Certain states allow students who stay at home or live at home or under the care of their parents to remain on the insurance until after getting out of college or until they reach a certain age. Now, again, this depends on the state, so I can't cover all 50 states in the United States. And again, it's going to vary across the world if you're watching this somewhere else than the United States. But this is also an option you should look into because this is going to be a free option to you. Now, again, it's not going to be free for everyone, as you will be an additional dependent on your parents' insurance, so they will have to pay a little bit more. However, it's going to be a great option if you are of age and you do fall within those requirements. The best recommendation is talk to your parents. If you're in that situation, do a little research online and see if you can remain on your parents' insurance until a certain age. Check with your local healthcare professionals. If you're not sure, look up a local broker, a healthcare broker on a search engine. Contact them and ask them a few questions, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. But this is a great option. Okay, so now this leads us to option number 3. And option number 3 is actually my favorite option. The reason why option 3 is my favorite is because if you have a spouse who is working at a job and they have benefits or have the ability to obtain benefits, I highly recommend you hop on your spouse's benefits plan as a dependent. Now, let's give you an example. Let's say that you're married and your spouse works full-time as well. Your spouse has benefits from this company, including health benefits. You then could perhaps quit your job and start working as an independent consultant and then hop onto their insurance as a dependent. And so at that point, you would receive the same health benefits that your spouse would receive, and you're going to pay a much lower rate than you would for the next two methods, which we will get to. And the reason for this is just because you're on a regular employer plan. Employer plans are cheaper because they have a large group of people in which contribute to the pool, which drives costs down. When you pay for insurance individually, your prices usually go up quite significantly. So if this is an option, I highly recommend it. And in fact, I know a number of successful consultants whose spouses work full-time and they hop on their spouse's insurance. In fact, I'd probably say from anywhere to 50 to 70% of the independent consultants I know that have a working spouse do exactly this because they can save an insane amount of money, which you'll see here in the next couple of steps. So if your spouse is on a plan, hop on that plan. It's just going to be a few more dollars per month for an additional dependent, but it's going to be far cheaper than the next two options that we're going to talk about. And this is my preferred method if you have that option available to you. Okay, now we're on to option number 4. Option number 4 is known as COBRA. Now, COBRA stands for Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act. And the abbreviation for that is COBRA, or known as COBRA. So we're just going to reference it as COBRA. So what does that really mean? Now, in layman's terms, what this means is that COBRA will allow you to stay on your full-time employer's insurance after you have left your employer. Let's assume you work full-time at a company. They have great health benefits. You would love to keep those health benefits, but you want to start your own independent consulting career. So you decide to do it. You give your 2 weeks notice. You now have the option to then pay for COBRA. What COBRA will allow you to do is stay on your existing company's health plan. Now you're going to pay a significant amount of money more than you would if you were an employee, but you get to keep those same exact benefits. However, there is a stipulation here. There is a time limit in which you can stay on these health benefits. It's going to range anywhere from 16 to 18 months all the way up to 36 months. Which one is it? It depends on your circumstance and depends upon your job and everything and the circumstances around that. So you're going to have to check with your HR department to determine what you would qualify for COBRA. However, if you can pay for COBRA and your insurance is something you would like to keep, I highly recommend that you do it simply for the fact that it's going to be much cheaper than it would be for our last option, which is going to be our most expensive option. So again, if you want to stay on your existing employer's insurance, take a look at the COBRA program. You're going to qualify from anywhere from, like I said, 16 to 18 months, all the way up to 36 months, I believe, is the range. Just check with your HR department, and then you'll just cut them a check every month to perhaps, I think it's the insurance company, and then at that point in time, you get to keep the insurance for that period of time. Once that expires, you'll have to eventually move on either back to step 3, which is hop on a spouse's insurance if you have that option, or we'll move on to step 5, which is paying for yourself. That's exactly what step 5 is here. You're going to pay for all of the insurance yourself. Now this, by far, is going to be the most expensive option in which you're going to have. In fact, this is an option that I have been paying for well over a decade, if not close to 15 years. The range in which you can pay for this is going to range very wildly. If you are a family of 4, such as myself, and you live in an expensive area and you purchase a high-end premium plan, such as I do, I pay for a very premium health plan and dental plan. Right now, for a family of 4, I pay close to $3,000 a month for my health insurance. This is in New Jersey in the United States. However, that doesn't mean that I couldn't get this cheaper. In fact, I could get this for far cheaper if I wanted to change my deductibles, change the plan that I was on. However, the plan that I want to give me the benefits that I want and need happens to cost this much. So this is for a family of 4, and this could actually get more expensive as time goes on. So if you have more than 4 members of your family, of course this could go up. It depends on the plan you have. If you are an independent person, you are not married, you have no dependents, you only want to cover yourself, your prices can be much cheaper, all the way down to a couple of $100 a month to $400 a month. It can be really low. And if you're taking a high deductible plan, and if you're familiar with those options, then your prices can be really driven down significantly. So again, you could be in the $200 to $400 range. If it's you and your spouse, it's going to go up. If it's you and one child, you and 2 or 3 dependents, the price can vary. So be prepared to pay a premium. However, the benefit here is that you can choose exactly what you want. You can choose if you want a PPO, you want an EPO, do you want an HSA. If all those acronyms that I just said sounded like complete jargon and Greek to you, don't worry, not to be concerned. There is an option which I'm going to talk to you about here in a minute, which can help you clarify what a lot of those things are. But if you do know what you want, you can go directly and purchase those things directly from the carriers themselves, which brings us to the point of, if you are in option 5, how do you go find this insurance? Now, it depends upon the state and depends upon where you live, but for the most part, if you're an independent consultant, you're probably making decent income. So you're not going to qualify for a lot of the payment programs or the financial aid programs through the state's marketplace. However, if you do, you can go look at the federal healthcare marketplace and your local state healthcare marketplace. Again, this is going to depend on your state. If you're in New Jersey, we have to go to the New Jersey healthcare marketplace. If you're in another state, you might just go to the federal healthcare.gov site to find health insurance. And all these sites they're just marketplaces. You plug in your information. Here's how many dependents I have. Here's some of the additional stats they ask for. You hit submit, wait a few minutes, and then they come back with a bunch of different options from various different healthcare companies, and then you can pick and choose which one that you would like. And usually when we're talking about health insurance, this is going to be for health and dental. This doesn't usually include vision. If you want vision, you'll have to reach out for additional vision coverage. Life insurance is separate, just as disability for short and long term as well. If you already know that you prefer one healthcare provider, insurance company per se, more than another, you can go directly to that healthcare insurance company. Look for a quote. Let's just say you want to use Blue Cross. I have no affiliation with Blue Cross. You just say Blue Cross, quote, and then your state name, and you put that into a search engine, and it's going to probably find where you can go fill out a quote, fill it out on their website, and usually sign up for insurance right then and there on their website if you would like. If you prefer another healthcare company, Aetna, United, there's a whole number of them that are out there. You can go ahead and choose to do that. And then at that point in time, what you're going to have is an option to sign up online. If a lot of this information really stresses you out, or really just doesn't make any sense, and you really don't feel comfortable navigating this by yourself, you do have another option. And usually you're going to feel this way if you're in option number 5, because it's like a blank canvas and you can pick and choose what you want. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So you kind of need someone to guide you through this. I've been doing it long enough now to know exactly what I need and want, so I can go directly to the provider, pick and choose what I want, and then I'm on my way. If you're not in that situation, what do? Thankfully, there's people known as healthcare brokers out there that can help you. So you're going to want to search for a healthcare broker in your local area. So if you live in Washington, D.C., you might search for a Washington, D.C. healthcare broker. You're going to find back a number of them. These brokers almost always get paid from the health insurance companies. In fact, I've never had to pay one in the 10 to 15 years that I've used them. What you can do is you reach out to a health insurance broker and say, hey, I'm looking for insurance. I'm an independent consultant. I'm running my own company. I need it for one person, 2, 3, 5 people. However, here's the kind of benefits I had before. I'd like to have something similar again. What the broker will go do is say, okay, sounds good. They'll head off, maybe come back in a day or so, and come back to you with a bunch of options in which you can then pick and choose from of what healthcare options you would like. They'll help you sign up, help you walk you through the process. They actually get paid from the healthcare companies themselves because they have contracts and so forth with those healthcare companies to help onboard people onto their health insurance platforms. So that is a very viable option to you if it does confuse you completely. So look up a healthcare broker in your local area. So that's it. That pretty much wraps it up. There are 5 options in which you can obtain health insurance as an independent consultant. Let's quickly recap them. The first one, don't have health insurance at all. That's free. I don't advise that. Number 2, you want to stay on your parents' insurance if you have the option to. Perhaps you're a student and you fall within the legal boundaries of being able to do that. You have to check with your state and your local health insurance to see if that's a possibility. Number 3, if you have a spouse who has existing health insurance, hop onto their health insurance as a dependent. This is the option I recommend you go with if you do have this available to you. You are going to save significant amount of money. I have seen folks who pay $400, $450 a month for health insurance through their company, as compared they would pay over $2,000 to $2,500 plus if they were to buy it themselves. You will save an enormous amount of money if you can hop on your spouse's health insurance. Quick tip, if you had the health insurance at your full-time job and your spouse was on your health insurance, but you want to quit and become an independent consultant, but your spouse can get insurance on their company, see if you can both switch over to the other side and be on her insurance. Again, the reason being, you're going to save a lot of money. Number 4, you can use COBRA. So again, COBRA will allow you to stay on from your full-time employment insurance for a number of months, for up to a couple of years. So check with your HR department, see what COBRA options are available to you and for what length of time. Now, if that's not available to you, or you've reached the end of your COBRA time and you need to purchase your own, that leads us to number 5, purchase your own. You can go directly to the providers or go to a health insurance marketplace or call up a broker and ask them to help you find what the best plan for you is. This is all easy enough. Yes, insurance is expensive. Yes, it can be a little bit stressful when you first get started out. However, if you are billing enough, and I'll put a card up here to make sure that you are billing enough. If you're billing enough, the health insurance costs should not be a problem to you simply because you've built this into your rate. You're expecting these costs to come down. So when you're charging the correct amount, you can pay these large sums of money for your health insurance and it won't degrade your quality of life because you've already built that into your rate. Now, I hope that helps. I hope this really helps you relieve your fears of taking the next step into your independent consulting career, because this is usually the most stressful part of stepping off to be a full-time independent consultant. In fact, it's what stops most people from becoming independent consultants is the health insurance. Health insurance can almost be seen as a trap that ties you to, almost a ball and chain that ties you to a full-time job. You now have the information to go out and start researching this yourself so you can start making that step into your full-time independent consulting career. If you have any questions, any concerns, any comments, please reply below. I'll do my best to answer them. Again, if this video has provided any value to you, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I'll be sharing information about independent consulting, how to find your clients, billing, everything, statements of work, contracts, all that good old stuff right here on this channel. So subscribe to the channel so you get notified, and I'll catch you next time.